Hello everybody and welcome to the Learn Dota 2 League Season 14, Week 3.
Radiant team
It's one of these last few makeup games we have to do here for Dragon Ball Zeus, Ganker x Ganker. Of course, as one of these makeup games, I am alone on this. It's going to be interesting. Take one look into the past with Dragon Ball Zeus here, as this is the last week before they start undergoing some pretty heavy reforms. It's also their first week with Jab rather than Scotty. Dragon Ball Zeus knocking out the Huskar, knocking out the Beastmaster, and interestingly enough, letting through the Nature's Prophet for Ganker x Ganker, which I think is going to be kind of rare. GXG just knocking out the Viper, knocking out the Death Prophet there.
10 seconds remaining.
Viper's interesting. I don't know if you do that without a good reason to do so. First pick Undying, no surprises here.
Seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Pick.
Snapfire comes out next. Again, not much of a shock there. I know I've said this before in recent weeks, but I just want to remind everybody. It's not just a hitty on the tombstone. Really sucks being dying against her for a lot of other reasons. Tony, coming out next. Snapfire and Tiny have the potential, collectively, to
10 seconds
really move somebody a long way.
5 seconds.
You know, Tiny can throw to Snapfire, Snapfire can throw to anywhere she wants, basically. It's an interesting, if kind of difficult to use properly, little combination there. And then, of course, you also have the Cookie and Scatter Blast for when Tiny is just dropping stuff on your head. Very good push so far, I'll say that much. I don't know where Tiny's going yet. But wherever he's going to be pushing the hell out of whatever he's looking at.
Dire team ban.
Dire picking up the Primal Beast here. That's going to be for Rada. One of his more signature, I suppose, heroes in that position 3 role, banning out the Drow Ranger.
Ten seconds remaining.
Not a great surprise there. I feel like Beast kind of rough into the Drow Ranger. Drow Ranger on this team would have a lot of benefit in the way that it would be very, very, very difficult for anybody on Dragon Ball Zeus to actually close the gap with the Drow, even with the Primal Beast in consideration, because getting there is only half the problem. Staying there is a very different matter, and especially if it's not a more core Tiny, if it's a support Tiny, Tiny can just toss you right back out. Can just throw you right away from her and into a less nice fight. Banning out the Puck to destroy Kid Dynamite's reputation as the Puck-only player. Marcy banned out here. No surprises, I think it's pretty much the pause 4 in the game right now. Sniper knocked out here. Not looking to see some RG Sniper. It's not a bad ban, I don't think. Just take out, you know, some of the more carry from mid style heroes for RG, for Ruskel Gaming.
5 seconds remaining.
Kind of hampers his team's win condition, basically. Because let's just call a spade here. Let's not mince any words. For Dragon Ball Zeus, you know, probably the most mid-dependent team in the entire league. If things go bad for RG, things go bad for this team. And the later he can be a threat, the later they can go.
Radiant team ban.
Faceless Boy banned out. Probably one of the more generic pause ones right now. I don't know if it's much of a Blue Jay classic, but certainly not going to be here. That much is
10
certain.
seconds remaining.
What a bad game for him. Tiny
5
can
seconds
just avalanche into the Chronosphere, can toss people into it. Snapfire can ult into it, so it's got a good lineup for it.
Team pick.
OD going down here, which is a bit interesting. I don't know how great OD is on a team like Dragon Ball Zeus. I feel like OD just peaks and tapers just so early that it's kind of like, you know, the experiment with like the Timber Saw mid on RG. It's like that just loses
10
its
seconds
fangs so
remaining.
quickly. It just doesn't really feel like it's a very realistic possibility
5 seconds
for them to win with a
remaining.
hero like that, to be honest with you.
Dire team pick.
Witch Doctor. It's confirming it's Support Tiny here. Guess not much of a surprise. It seems like Support Tiny so far this season has... I don't know if we've seen one yet. I don't think.
10 seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining.
If you're talking about some bad juju, Witch Doctor and Tiny can be a very good supply of that. You know, having the Maledict dropped on your head right before Tiny, you know, drops an anvil on you. That is loads and loads and loads of damage. That is impossible for basically anybody to survive, so you kind of need a silencer to make sure that doesn't just always kill you, I suppose. That's a very strong pick here. Everybody so far on GXG, including one of their guaranteed cores, is going to be incredibly cast dependent. So you're really hampering their support
10
line and their
seconds
Tiny
remaining.
and picking this guy. The only trouble is going to be, as we've seen so
5
far in this
seconds
tournament, the only
remaining.
trouble is going to be making sure Silencer actually lives to see fights. Which that could definitely be a problem. He
Radiant
can definitely
team pick.
easily just get gone here.
Razor.
It's an interesting pick, a Razor here. I don't think you usually, this is going to be a weird thing to say, I don't think you would usually pick Razor anywhere but where Ganker x Ganker's picking right now, or as like a last pick maybe? I feel like you always want at least 2
10
cores on the
seconds
table
remaining.
here to go with Razor and have it be safe. If you got some kind of plan,
5
I suppose you can
seconds
work it in, but it's certainly interesting to see here. Both of these teams, I believe, went into this match without a win on their record so far. I believe Ganker x Ganker and Dragon Ball Zeus were both 0 in the wing column when they were looking at this game, when they were going in here. So it's interesting, you know, from where they stand, somebody's going to break that undefeated streak. Razor appears to have put a lot of doubt into the minds of GXG. Now taking after a pick phase so far, which hasn't really dipped into any reserve time, suddenly the Razor's got them thinking quite a bit.
Dire team ban.
Pudge.
Brings out the Pudge. No surprises there. Especially after getting totally clowned by this guy in week 2, I guess it's no surprise to see them pick it up, try to run with it here.
10 seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Radiant team ban.
No Phantom Lancer. It's not too surprising. It's
10
not great to
seconds
be
remaining.
Razor against PL. There's an interesting assumption there that it's not going to be
5
one Pudge,
seconds
which I think
remaining.
so far is actually the most common role for Pudge to be in this season. As odd as that is to say, it is the truth. We've seen, I think, 1 support Pudge in the entire season, and we've seen
Dire team ban.
maybe 2 or 3 games where he's been mid. Oh, Moon River ran it. No AA. No, the Bush ran it as well, so at least 2.
10 seconds remaining. 5
Ancient
seconds
Apparition
remaining.
knocked out there. Not a bad
Radiant team
idea,
back.
but it is kind of making an underlying assumption that it's going to be core on either Silencer or Undying. Which I don't necessarily know is the case. I don't think they really have any sort of obligation to run Silencer as a core, nor do I think it's probably the greatest idea. I feel like there's just... He's just too squishy against all these guys. If you're in Silencer core, you're going to have too many fights. You just got to expect
5
this
seconds
game
remaining.
that sometimes Silencer is just going to be randomly picked. Like, sometimes you're going to be going into fights sans Silencer, so I don't really feel like he's a great mid option as a result of that. Like, no matter what he does. At any point in this game, Tiny's going to be able to just crush him if he finds Silencer without Silencer being able to get anything off. Same with Pudge. Really, same with Snapfire, too, to a large degree. At the very least, Snapfire can get Silencer low enough to not be able to do anything for retaliation.
10 seconds remaining. 5 seconds
We're gonna
remaining.
Lesh there. Good Dynamite looked into the future, saw what happened with the RG Leshrac in Week 4. Doesn't want to see that happen. Seems like both teams are kind of in the dark about how each other's compositions are going to be, which I guess isn't too much of a surprise. Both of them definitely have some ability to flex out here. Got a Timber Saw pick here, which is likely going to be the mid. Which, I don't know, I don't think I really like Timber in this game, to be honest with you. He's got the strength blow up against Tiny and Pudge, but I feel like
10
that's pretty
seconds
much the
remaining.
exact moment where his upsides end. He's not going to be able to do
5
much to
seconds
Snapfire.
remaining.
Witch Doctor is somebody who he really wants nothing to do with. The Pudge is something that he can't really do terribly much about. Most importantly, he's one of those heroes where if Timber Saw Timber chains and Pudge throws the hook wins. So I just don't think I like it that much in this game. Especially if it's going to be mid. Which, I mean, it's almost certainly going to have to be.
Juggernaut.
I
Choose
am
your
Juggernaut.
hero.
I am going to be pause 1 this game. Which means that we're having some interesting situation. It's going to be a 3 Tiny, it seems. So far, I think that is becoming a little bit more popular in pubs. So far, has not really appeared in LD2L this season. Very, very brave to pick the Juggernaut straight into the Razor here, but honestly, I can kind of see why. Pudge versus Razor is one of those bad Razor matchups. You know, very easy to break the link. And if Razor can't really link Juggernaut, then Razor can't do anything to the guy, basically. I feel like, on paper, as a result, I like the Ganker x Ganker lineup. There is one thing I will say, I do think these lanes are going to be a little difficult for them, though, and that might be a place where they can see some issues. Like, the Primal Beast Silencer lane is just going to kill Witch Doctor every time he shows his face, which means Jug's going to be taking a lot of 1v2s. The Razor and Undying lane is going to be very, very hard for them to actually flush out in any meaningful way. Well, Pudge is going to really put the spurs to Timbersaw, I think, through this game. Like, I really don't think, outside of the first 20 minutes that, okay, we are on free cam.
Prepare
Really
for
don't think
battle.
outside of the first 20 minutes that Pudge has literally anything to fear out of Timbersaw. In those first 20 minutes, you know, it's still going to be the Whirling Death is going to be taken off. you know, a lot of his strength is going to be making it a really hard, you know, option to rot. So it could be rough there, though I do think on the other hand, Pudge does also have still the pure damage hook, which that is one of
My
the
keyboard is not working.
one of the ultimate anti-Timbersaw things. Everybody make as many sounds as he can now. But as I was saying, ooh, looks like Witch Dark getting chased a little bit under the tower here by Rada, who's going to proceed to attempt to walk through trees for a minute. But yeah, it's gonna be very, very execution dependent on how the mid actually goes, I think. Pudge is consistently able to hook Timbersaw. It's gonna be kind of rough for him. Timbersaw's going to have some ability to fight back with the strength culling and everything, but it's gonna be a little hard. And I don't know how relevant reactive armor is gonna be in this particular lane. I mean, in particular, I don't think it responds to rot at all, so. Now it could. If it does respond to Rod, then hey, great news for Timbersaw, but if not, it could be a little tricky. So, with that being said, he gets the first last in the game, though. With that being said, let's take a look at the very, very best part of the entire cast. We got the roll call going down. So, for Ganker x Ganker, playing Pause 1, you've got Blue Jay on the Juggernaut. Pause 2, captain of the team on the Pudge, you've got Kid Dynamite, who's sponsored by Trash. Pause 3, you've got Looter, last name Shooter on the Antonia. Pause, who did not take the Nature's Prophet, even though that was open, which was interesting. Pause 4, you've got Dark Ace on the Snapfire. Really interesting. I don't think this is that bad of a Prophet game, though you kind of just want to see Razor. And Pause 5, you've got the Witch Doctor being played by Code.Line. Meanwhile, on the other side of the coin, for Dragon Ball Zeus, we've got the boss, Pause 1 Razor, who's currently going to be making things a little miserable for Tiny here. Pause 2, you've got captain of the team, two mid-captains facing each other here, RG, Ruskel Gaming, on the Timbersaw. Pause 3, you've got Rada G-Gast on the Primal Beast. Pause 4, you got Jap replacing Scotty, full-time I believe, on the Silencer. And pause 5, you've got Molsky, one-up Molsky on the Undying. You also got a couple of courier kills here, both pause 4 have taken out the respective pause 1 couriers at basically the same time.
Couldn't resist.
Timbersaw trying as much as possible to put some pressure on there with the Qs. Feels like Pudge is pretty much always going to be losing that big percentage of his strength here in this lane. At least as long as Timber has a mana anyway. He's quickly racking up a Soul Ring here, which I actually think that might be a bit of a problem from this game. You know, Timbersaw hits Soul Ring, then he immediately gets hooked. That's going to be a lot of damage coming out on him in a very short amount of time. And none of it he is able to resist in any meaningful capacity. This is really the big way to deal with Timbersaw. What you want to deal with Timbersaw, you want burst damage. You want him to never be able to regen that stuff, right? Just get him so low so quickly he has no ability to fight back. And Soul Ring followed up by a hook could do just that. Molsky gonna take about 2/3 of his health here. It's in rather low. He's got his bottle already. And that RG is likely. I mean, he might be pulling it off Courier now. Let's click on the Ancient by accident. No, he's pulling off a Casual Hood. That's interesting. Wants to try and stand up to the rot. Casual Hood, Casual Cloak. More traditionally a pause 3 method, but as I've heard it, RG is more traditionally a pause 3 player, so I suppose that's not the most surprising thing in the world. very interesting to see Pudge in a mid lane where he's very consistently at a lower max health than his opponent, even at the same level. Being a little conservative with his hook so far is interesting. I mean, even though it's only 150 pure damage, it's still a tenth of his health. It's just suddenly gone every time he does that. With no recomping. You know, he can't just heal that up with Witch Doctor getting run over here. Can't just heal that up with his passive. Let's take a look at this just happening. Yeah, this is just pretty much the most traditional possible First Blood on a Witch Doctor lineup, and Juggernaut is too slow to actually go out and get anything done more than that. Sprout is going to be A-okay. Well, I mean, he's going to be very low health, but they're not going to be able to punish that. You know, so far, like I said, isn't too surprising. It's not... Okay. Now that's interesting. I looked away for 1 second when Jug just kind of got run over here. And he just noticed he was low, walked all over him. Goodbye to the Juggernaut, though. It's rather likely that Rada's just about to take a spill. Needs to eat his tango, homeboy. Nope. Just gonna go down here. This is definitely a lane where I feel like no matter what happens, Rada absolutely, positively, guaranteed is going to want to get that old classic casual cloak. So much of their damage output in the lane phase is going to be magic that you can say basically 100%. So if he gets that casual cloak here, say next item, or if he starts working on Hood perhaps, then it's going to be a lot of good news for him. Both at this stage and further in the game, because, you know, it's going to be a very magic damage heavy team. I mean, you've got the Tiny, you've got the Pudge. Not getting in a lane in particular is going to be good. You know, Timbersaw is, interestingly enough, he's working on his own Hood of Defiance, and, okay, what's happening down here? What the hell is this? They got a good go on Silencer. So you're just gonna get clapped by Tomato? Yup! Okay, you'll hear no more from me. That's very sad. Blue gets a Soul Ring, but does not get to retain his courier for it. Very heavy action here in the bot lane. Every time I feel like it's about to let up, you just kind of go back right in once again. Rada playing this very aggressively.
Just what the doctor ordered.
Just what the doctor ordered. Again, you know, no great surprises. Like I mentioned at the top, it was going to be kind of rough lanes for GXG, and so far that's the case. The thing I don't know is, are the lanes going to be rough enough? It definitely feels like DBZ needs to establish a pretty heavy lead early on. So far, it's like, you know, it's okay. It's a decent lead. Pudge is getting body blocked by his own illusions. Pudge actually missed that kill, I'm pretty confident, because he was getting body blocked by his own illusions. If you didn't believe me before about the rod not affecting, not giving Timbersaw stacks of it, there you go. I believe it's only on declared attacks that he gets reactive armor. Timber's in a bit more danger than I think he realizes he's in. I think one hook and a dismember is a dead Timber. Pudge is actually rather okay. Another casual kill there in the bot lane. Like I kind of said earlier, you know, all Witch Doctor's able to do in this lane just kind of die over and over. It's not as easy to kill the Juggernaut, but it's easy enough to rout him, put him in enough danger, he's incredibly at threat of death. There is one bit of good news. Tiny's definitely doing better in this lane than I expected him to. I guess that's just what happens when somebody kind of, you know, getting settled into their position here. Boss not a Poslim man.
Juggernaut!
The Witch Doctor here once again. Looking very dead. He's casting skills just to make sure, absolutely sure he's gonna die no matter what happens. Let's also take a look at Jug just getting run over here, and yep. Yeah, at this point, Primal Beast has just been able to feed on the Witch Doctor so much he is able to go out and get some damage done to the The Juggernaut here.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Bit of a hesitant link there from Razor, not really willing to go under tower or anything, which ain't a big surprise, doesn't have any mana.
Radiant structures
Timber
are
Saw
fortified.
leading in the last hits against Pudge.
Radiant's bottom tower
Ready for
is under
denies.
attack.
Still trying to come out and poke as much as he can. I will say it is rather notable that Timber Saw really, well, he is able to maintain a last hit lead. It's not the biggest one in the world, and he's gone top here
Nice.
for a kill. Got himself an arcane rune. Tiny throwing Razor right to the fat man. Who's just gonna eat him? That's definitely a good combo. Courier gets away at 12 HP. Very sad. Which means Razor is going to be able to
Radiant's middle tower
get
is
those
under
power
attack.
treads up about when he wants to. Radiant safe lane looking for a little bit of revenge against the Silencer here. They actually do get him. Lose the Witch Doctor for it though. Would have definitely been better for the Dire there if Silencer was able to survive that. No such luck. Wada has chosen to go Vanguard here over the Hood of Defiance. I think that might cost him a bit in the future. Vanguard not gonna do great this game. The good news is it's going to completely get rid of any damage that Jug does. It's not a crit. That's the good news. Like literally all of the damage that he does is going to get knocked off if it's not a crit. Bad news is it's not really going to help him against anything else, and it's certainly not going to help too much when Snapfire starts blowing up your armor. So I definitely feel like a Hood this game, at this stage, would be doing him a lot better work and really probably helping him a lot in this lane. Not at this point like he seems he needs it. He could have bought like I don't know, he could have bought he could have gone back in time and bought a poor man shield in this lane and things wouldn't have changed, I don't think. At this point he can buy whatever the hell he wants, the lane's going to go well. The only trouble is going to be keeping up that momentum going more into the mid-game. Especially once he starts having to deal with the Pudge in particular, and double especially. Once Pudge gets the eggs, which he's looking to do right after he finishes up phase boots here.
Radiant's bottom tower.
I was trying to take more of a last hit lead over Pudge here. Which ain't great. I feel like something needs to happen with this scenario at mid.
Radiant's bottom
Could be
tower
bad
is
for
under
Pudge. Oh, he tries to go for the ult there, but he just gets a global silence dropped on his head. Snapfire shows up to intervene, but doesn't quite get it. Very good use of the global silence there. Definitely a sign of good communication from the RG lineup. Molsky just comes to body block one time, basically.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Tiny's just randomly gonna take a bite out of the silencer here. Witch Doctor is gonna be a good guy. Just play dummy, get the Tiny out of action here. Get Dynamite's actually gonna teleport back into this, so it could be actually a little bad for him. He's not great at dealing with the Undying in general. He doesn't like the zombies, he doesn't like the strength steal, so. But he is going to be staying too close to that tower for them to do anything about, so that's probably fine. Snapfire just eats a free tombstone for money. I was looking for a hook there on the Timber Saw, does not ultimately find anything.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Okay, this could be really bad for Timber Saw. Not if the hook misses though. Now it's suddenly kind of looking bad for Pudge. Artillery strike coming in on the backside. Does not need to be hitting that silencer, yep. Realizes that redirects towards the Timber Saw. Does not take a lot from it as he's hood active to just tank through it.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
I'm gonna clear out the trees here. Just make absolute sure that if somebody comes and TPs down to this T2 bot, he's definitely going to be able to see it. Though what he's going to be worried about very soon is not exactly going to be teleporting. Rudda correctly scans out that there is somebody coming from him from up north, though he doesn't really react to it at all.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Makes a dash through the trees. Kid Dynamite does not even try to hook. Would have been very blind for him if he did, so no surprises there. Beast is okay. Took out about a quarter of this thing's health.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Bit of an invasion here through the jungle looking for Razor. Sounds are gonna try and just straight up man fight the Snapfire so far. Looks like that's kind of precisely what did not want to happen. Snapfire's just kind of walking away. Timbersaw is very alone here. I don't know how much the Radiant realizes this. I think they didn't. I don't think it really came together for Radiant until it was just a little too late that Timbersaw was totally alone there. Good global silence again. Jab is doing a very good job directing traffic with these global silences. It feels like every time Timber in particular is almost gonna die, it just comes out for the save of the last second. And while this time is being used, Rudda has knocked off about another quarter of this thing's health, get it down to half. Snapfire just gonna kind of walk down here, just make sure that the Primal Beast just has to walk away. Look at these net worth charts. Decent size advantage for the Dragon Ball Zeus core, certainly not insurmountable at this point in the game.
I'll take that.
Primal Beast is not even thinking about getting any kind of magic resist in this game, which that might cost him a little bit in the long run. Again, so far, you know, he's not afraid of goddamn anything, but, like, he's so unafraid of anything. He's just sitting here doing this camp. Just give him money to Dark Ace, who's sniping all the creeps from him. It's a little funny. Tiny's finished up Blink Dagger here. It's gonna give him some good jump scare ability. You know, probably one of the worst things that can happen in this game is just Tiny blinks on you, throws you right into Pudge. I think Kid Dynamite, by the way, is playing the Pudge, like the new Pudge, very well. You know, he's been continuously farming through this entire game, but he's always close enough to his line that, you know, he's been, even if the hooks themselves haven't been really panning out, he's close enough where he's always helping. He's close enough where he's always putting himself into a position where fat stacks are available. They are able to come out. Lots of TPs coming out to defend this T1 here. Global Silence is going to trap Pudge in a rot here. Actually, a lot of Bane falling on his head. Blue Jay trying to assist with the Healing Ward, but he moves the Healing Ward way faster than Pudge. Not like it probably would have saved him anyway, but that's definitely a bit unfortunate.
Radiant's bottom
Very, very large response there from the Dire. Save that T1 mid and put a little bit of pressure on this T2 here. Definitely looking, and I think this is the right option. Definitely looking to do a lot in the early game here. They want to get as much done as possible for Pudge to get set eggs. They want to get as much done as possible for Juggernaut is scary to any serious degree. Pudge is going to eat Undying for free, though Rudda is about to just take a very casual spill up there. Also Unstoppable. Lost it to Witch Doctor, don't get me wrong, because it's not the end of the world, but that was a very large streak, and the top net worth core in the server that just took a spill there. Sounds they're bringing in, okay, just some TP scrolls. I do think Dragon Ball Zeus did get a little overconfident with that push. They broke through, just tried to go a little too far, and as a result, threw a lot of money at this team without really getting much done for themselves in the process. Notably, they're back to just a 5k net worth advantage, which again is a lead, certainly, but not a huge lead. As far as the XP parity goes, yeah, aside from Rada, who's kind of an outlier, pretty much everybody's at the same level as their GXG counterpart, so it is a lead, but it's not like the biggest lead in the world. I'm just gonna eat a pretty massive stack here. And he's also gonna leave this stupid dragon skill on the ground because he has an inventory full of random garbage. Timbersaw building very defensively here, which I don't know if I really like that much. I think this game you just kind of have to go balls to the wall more. So that is going to be a good use of the Lotus Orb. I believe that's the reveal of it. It's going to just straight up get the Witch Doctor killed. Now Pudge is looking very lone and very dead. Just going to set that axe back even further. Good reveal. Yeah, it was. Oh, and Jug is randomly gonna die somewhere. Okay, I gotta see how that goes down. Yeah, Rager just kind of finds him going out here. No. Then I guess he just really wanted to take the full effect of the Razor ult there. Bit interesting. Dragon Ball Zeus, putting some pressure on the T2 here. You can definitely tell that the Dragon Ball Zeus lineup know exactly what they've got in their hands. I think they're playing out this match pretty much exactly how they need to play it out to have it like a path to victory here. Just being very aggressive, punishing Pudge every single time they can get the opportunity. I will say this much, if Pudge does finish this eggs, and he is getting close, he's just 1,000 gold off now. If Pudge is able to finish that axe, things get very bad very quickly for this team, I think. Global Silence there is going to protect the Primal Beast a little bit. Maybe not the best TP ever performed there by Tiny. Pudge, Pudge dismembers the Primal Beast for about a half a second, then just eats an entire Razor Leash. They're gonna go under the T4s here to get rid of him. Does get him down.
Radiant's middle tower is under
I think this
attack.
silencer pick is really paying them dividends. It feels like every time the global silence comes out, there's just a one team fight to follow. It's definitely somebody to look at for a ban in the future against this lineup, especially if you're gonna be, you know, 5 very cast-dependent heroes like this.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
And so far, he hasn't really had the issue where, you know, with being jumped or anything in particular. I believe he's got the most deaths on his team. But that's not saying that much. 5 deaths at this point in the game as Silencer against a Tiny, a Pudge, a Jug, a Snap, a Witch Doctor. That's fine. That's definitely fine. You want less if you can get less, but I mean, I'm not going to sneeze at that. This could be far, far more disastrous for him personally. Timbersaw looking to take up some travels. He's got himself his flamethrower now.
Tower is under attack.
Just looking again, more early game aggression, more early game push power.
I am the Juggernaut. I will be told to go cut this wave, I think. That is not a good idea. If I do that, I die. So I decide not to.
I think that was actually just Timbersaw drawing a funny line on the map. That's his color.
Is a great conductor.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
I'm gonna have to clip out for the T2 down here. This T2 is effectively 100% dead. No way it survives to any meaningful degree. Yep.
Radiant's bottom tower has fallen.
instantaneously bring out the smoke here right as soon as this T2 falls. I kind of like that. Just makes
Dire's
the
middle tower
intentions
is under
very
attack.
difficult to discern here.
Radiant's courier has been killed.
Tiny's courier just gets punched in the mouth. Very sad.
Dire's top tower
Man himself
is
isn't
under
going to
attack.
really go down. He is walking under a lot of vision. The Primal Beast is just kind of stalking him through the woods here.
Dire's top tower has
This is a
fallen.
good move for GXG. We're going to, in fact, run right into Primal Beast at a very nasty time. They don't really have great ability to do. Okay, yeah, they do. We're going to be doing this. Primal Beast playing Vanguard for the Tombstone here. Making a successful effort, for that matter. Just completely block out GXG from getting rid of it. Get a couple of kills for their troubles. Pudge. Seems like Pudge has, did he buy something else or something maybe?
Radiant's top
He
tower
was
is under attack.
only one item away from Axe earlier. Or at least, not, he was about this much gold with this many items to go, so I guess he just lost a lot of gold unfortunately for him here. Another T2 going down very casually. Pudge sitting there invis, but just nothing to do. Rascal saying, it's time for the Roche. There's not any kind of radiant vision here. They would have no idea this is happening, so that is not the worst idea I've ever heard. The only issue is I don't know if they really are going to have like the ability to actually kill him. Razor's not good at Roche. Beast ain't great with Roche. Yeah, another course actually can do that well, so if they do Roche, it is going to be a long time. The damage is at top though, so that could help a little bit. I mean, honestly, Rod himself should probably just get that thing. We're gonna give it to Razor, who can be bad against, but only can be. Tiny gonna toss Timber Saw right into pain here. Global Silence comes out, but this time it's not gonna save him. Mega kill streak goes down to Juggernaut, which is very good for them. Pudge is gonna get completely annihilated. Oh, they're trying to get a lot of stuns out with this shard, but it's not working. It's a very good turnaround fight there for Ganker x Ganker. Blue Jay just got a lot of goddamn money. Tiny ain't done here yet. Tiny's done here, never mind. Did he think he threw there, or what? Throws right into the shotgun. Silencer going to go down here. Well, that's suddenly very bad for Dragon Ball Zeus. Feels like everything was coordinated up until that particular fight, and what a time for it to suddenly drop. The Timber Saw just kind of goes out, tries to keep pushing up the T2, and has no ability to live while doing that. We are not going to get a fight recap for that, I guess, but you can definitely see, you know, the Juggernaut just passed up the Razor on the net worth chart and is closing in very quickly on the Timber Saw, who is really only sitting on a lot of defensive items plus shard. Like, he doesn't really yet have any ability to put on any more damage than this. Which ain't great. This is not a game where he's just going to be able to use abilities on their own and be okay. Pudge randomly hooks a creep from this camp. LB is trying to split things up here a little bit. They might be in more trouble than he realizes. No, team is going to close quickly on this. With everything on the Pudge. He's going to lose his strength. This is very sad news for him.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Tiny just randomly died somewhere in the jungle, which is not great for the Ganker x Ganker prospects in the upcoming fight.
Radiant's middle
T2
tower
mid
is under
is
attack.
effectively doomed. They could try to defend this, it would be a very bad idea.
Radiant's
Timbersaw
middle
gonna
tower
flame
has
down the
fallen.
tower, and that's it for now. 5-man smoke. Again, not really looking for anybody in particular, just trying to make it difficult to determine what exactly they're about to do next. Tiny saying,
Radiant
they're here!
scanning.
And he's right, but the scan isn't going to show that. Scan at the wrongest possible place, I think, basically. You know, nobody's really going to be standing out there. Pudge has finished the eggs, and that could definitely be a power spike. Nobody on the enemy team, except for Timbersaw, really has a great ability to stand up to that. Rada is going to get BKB soon, but he does not have it yet, which means they're going to be lacking it for a while. Smoking gonna find the Timbersaw here. Gonna put everything in the world on top of his head here. No global to try and bail him out this time. The Juggernaut's gonna ult here before Razor actually gets a chance to get the link off. Tiny comes, throws the Razor right into Pudge, just completely melts in no time flat. And suddenly this game, which looked like was almost in the bag for Dragon Ball Zeus, is looking really, really nasty. Prime will get out of that fight. It's going to mean he's going to get his BKB. That's going to be good. But, you know, he's going to have 9 seconds, 8 seconds, 7 seconds, and then he's done.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Once you get down to that 6-second
Dire's
BKB in this
structures are
game,
fortified.
you know, Pudge is going to definitely... You know, you can kill Pudge in 9 seconds in a fight. Killing Pudge in 6 seconds is a very tall order. Especially now that he's starting to cure some fat stuff. And he's going for a BKB of his own.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Tiny just swinging the tree at this tower here. Timbersaw trying to look to cut off any sort of escape plan here for the Snapfire. He's going to run into silence here. Try and win a 1v1 with him. Spoiler, does not work. Seems like the 3 on Underclub had a very different idea of what they wanted to do at this point in the game than the 1 and 2 here on GXG. Rada did just kind of blow that 9-second BKB though, unfortunately, but it's really going to suck. Means he's going to be lacking the 9 against Pudge, and that's going to hoit quite a bit. Timbersaw drawing close to SNK. Push goes down, Aegis is going to Razor. Once he determines what he wants to give up for it, the answer is a magic wand, not a bad idea.
Bounty.
And yeah, that's SNK up for Timbersaw, so finally, after all these years, he has a damage item. GXG unwittingly walking under a lot of wards here to give away their positioning. Vision here, not the best in the world for this lineup. SNK comes out for Timber. Rock's thrown by the Primal Beast here. Trying desperately to get Pudge out of the way for this. Beast is going to walk forward and just start ulting him. Keep him here. Leash goes out. Meat is fresh. But the silence is global. Does not come out at the perfect time, unfortunately, for him. Juggernaut's already gone in here. Juggernaut just desperately trying to get out of dodge here with his spin, but Timbersaw is at the exact perfect place at the end of the line to get rid of him here. Pudge buyback. Tiny buyback.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Regeneration.
Pudge pops a regen around. Hooks a catapult here to try to get the backdoor protection up sooner. So unfortunately not going to work for him. Next creep wave just a little too close. Timbersaw going in deep here. Trying to break up any trees, obscuring what the Radiant's doing down here. Not a bad plan. Oof, Rada very nearly caught by that hook. Casket goes right back. Not Casket, but Cask. To knock out the Witch Doctor and Pudge. He's just gonna... Okay, yeah, that's Pudge dieback. This game's over.
Bottom tower is under attack. Radiant's bottom tower has fallen. Radiant's bottom barracks are under attack.
Well, at least this rack is going down here. Certainly can't fight it out.
Radiant's bottom barracks
Really be surprised they can fight out like
Radiant's bottom barracks has fallen.
this rack set either. Juggernaut's gonna try to beat up a wave a little bit to give him some space, but
Radiant structures are fortified. Radiant's middle tower
I'm gonna
is
glyph here,
under
try to
attack.
buy some time. Fortunately for them, the creep waves come in at bot, so
Radiant's middle tower has fallen.
he's got Grease on this lineup. It's no, it's not Grease, just regular mech here.
Has fallen.
She's going to help
Radiant's middle
help
barracks
with the
are under
uphill in
attack.
particular.
Radiant's middle barracks
Prevent
has
anybody
fallen.
from being able to stop it, really. 10 seconds left, they're gonna go for another T3 here. With it
Radiant's top
down,
tower
yep,
is
that's
under attack. Radiant's top tower has
every
fallen.
non-ancient tower now down on GXG's side. I was sitting here trying to think, what the hell is up with Pudge? Why is he dying so fast in his fight? So I think maybe it's just missing out on that Eternal Shroud. That Eternal Shroud seems to be a very, very big part of the Pudge puzzle. It seems like it's a very different game when he has it versus when he doesn't. Perhaps
Radiant's
deceptively
courier
large
has been
influence there. Dragon Ball Zeus
Radiant's
looking to
top
try and get
barracks
some
are
picks
under
out here
attack.
behind the lines, but really not going to find anything. Aegis is about to expire. They got 30 seconds to do something with it. Primal Beast is going to scare everybody away from this barracks as Dragon Ball Zeus looks to just completely clear it out here. Boss going for the right rack, so shoutouts to Boss. And yep, that's Megas. Alright, so if my pattern finding abilities have told me anything, this game's going to go 30 more minutes now, and then Dragon Ball's gonna win. Good global. But not quite enough to save the Primal Beast the Undying here. Timbersaws finished up a Shiva's Guard, which is going to be interesting. It's going to really hurt poor Jug when he ain't spinning. Unfortunately for Timbersaw, Jug does have that Ag Shard, which means he's going to be getting some attacks out anyway. Though I do have a feeling he kind of bought that as much for damage as he did for the attack speed slow. Jug just got a Scotty, which is good here.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
It's going to help him actually be a factor in fights, which is so far this game, he just totally hasn't been able to. He just has not been able to stand up to the damage to any real degree. Primal Beast going for AC here, very big ticket item. Going to definitely be helpful for the Razor as well. Razor, who is currently looking at, I believe, yep, Refresher Orb, which is very close for him. Chug sees the Timbersaw, immediately spend TPs. Two bounty runes going down here. Silencer going to probably poke his head into the Roche Pit. Still at least a minute before he could even potentially spawn. Timbersaw looking for a sheep stick here. Timbersaw has changed his mind. He is now going for an Eternal Shroud. A very good item for him. Gonna help him be a lot tankier. Primal Beast going for the AC. Pudge has finished BKB here.
Radiant's courier has been killed.
Very sad. Rada kills the courier and then Razor laughs at its corpse. Takes up his Storm Surge move speed here. Interesting he didn't go for the Eye of the Storm Strike interval. Guess he's thinking more about, you know, trying to break for the final push than actually making the final push. Razor has finished his Refresher Orb, so he now has Ag's Refresher. He is now going to be infinite pushing power, basically. Tier 4 jungle items coming out here for the Dire. Radiant have not been able to pop into the jungle to get any of their own. It's always a bit unfortunate. Everyone just huddles in the Roche pit. Psychic headband dropped here. Oh, please tell me. Okay, good. That is their Psychic headband, which is nice. Apparently that was like the first jungle item I think that they got. I think they're just playing that order when nobody takes them, so that's a bit awkward. It's been hanging out since all the way back then. Roche is finally here. It's time to do an attempt. Timber Saw has finished Eternal Shroud. Falling rather short order. We're gonna have a shard here, which I think likely Razor gets. Hypothetically, they could pick up the Undying shard, but that's really bad on him when he isn't a core or anything. Yep, Razor gonna pick up the short here, pick up the Aegis.
Invisibility.
Just gonna get that Storm Surge reflect here. It's not gonna do that much. I don't think there's gonna be many times when he's gonna get directly targeted by much. At least not enough, you know. It's great against like a Scareth Mage type lineup, not this type lineup, but you know, still probably better than the other options. So. GXG huddling by these towers here. I'm starting to get one of these bad feelings in the pit of my stomach, dude. Primal Beast kind of whiffs the rock toss there.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Razor gonna put on all the dressings here to start knocking down the tower. Primal Beast more concerned about buying him some space and room than actually getting killed, which is good. Tiny going in, gonna BKB, gonna toss him around, but the BKB comes out in response. Gonna hurt things there. A lot of effort made to try and keep Silencer alive. Is actually gonna be successful. What are they doing? A very, very long way to try and KO the Silencer there, and haven't really anyone else. They did manage to clear out the base, but only at the cost of a lot of buys. We're gonna do this every week? Okay. Apparently not. Apparently not. Alright. No, apparently so, actually. Let's just, there we go. The GXG lineup has been brave enough to walk out of their base here, but I just can't say. I mean, this is one of these games where the reason this Roche defense is just totally hopeless is because you just can't walk out of base. You just cannot be out here at all. Not this Rosh defense, this Mega's defense. Totally hopeless. You can't be out here. Just, if you go outside, either A, somebody's just going to TP into your base and kill you, or B, somebody's going to TP into your base, kill your team, kill the Ancient, or B, somebody's going to TP on your head, kill you, personally, so. We're still with Aegis here. Not much time left on it. Interesting little dodge there by Tiny. Interesting decision here to continually keep the Link on Pudge rather than on the Juggernaut at all. And GXG just cannot keep the Ancient alive. Dragon Ball Zeus finally put one into their win column.
My keyboard is not working.
And RG's keyboard is not working. So here's the rundown on this. I think this is just good execution on DBZ's part. I think their draft is weaker than the Ganker x Ganker lineup. The Silencer is a very, very, very good pick here. I don't think GXG did enough to get rid of him until it was too late. Like, you know, in the last couple of fights, they just started diving past everything to try and randomly just get the drop on him. But I mean, like, in this game, you know, something that definitely should have been happening is Luda should have just been, like, blinking right on top of Silencer's head, immediately throwing him into Pudge to, like, start off fights, right? It's not really how things went. Usually it was either go on Primal Beast or go on Undying, which meant that pretty much every fight, even though Silencer, again, he did have the most deaths, don't get me wrong, but, like, it felt like what would happen is he would just get the global silence out, get everything done he wanted to in a fight, and then he would just go down because he's made of paper and he dies if you sneeze at him. So, to that end, you know, it's, I do think there was not quite enough attention given to the Silencer. He just was able to do everything he wanted to do pretty much every fight. I feel like the lack of the Eternal Shroud on the Pudge did not do him any favors here. I feel like, as well, I don't think I like how Tiny played out this game. It just seemed like he was just trying to be a baby Pause 1, basically. Just trying to dodge fights, to try to, you know, make up some big items, to just try and do some, like, late game push type strats or something. I don't know. Seemed like he was dodging a lot of these early fights, or just kind of BKB walk away, and I think really what they really wanted to do here was they wanted a very vicious, just all ganks all the time type Tiny. Just drop on everybody's head with the 3 and under club as much as possible. Like, you know, I said at the top of the match, right? One thing that basically nobody in the game's going to survive is the Maledict with the Tiny dropping on your head right after, right? But that never really happened. And in fairness, part of that is because Dragon Ball Zeus was so rarely as anything but 5 in this game that there weren't that many opportunities to do it, but rarely does not mean never. And it does feel like there's this, I do feel like there's an element of defeatism that went into GXG. You know, they started assuming it was always 5 guys on DBZ, right? Even when it wasn't actually the case. Very many fights here that just kind of start with, like, Timbersaw or Primal Beast awkwardly overextending, but nobody does anything in the time it takes for their team to catch up. Like that sort of thing. I don't know. It seems to me like GXG had a good lineup here, but it doesn't really seem like they had a great idea on how to actually execute it. It seems like this is like a good canned draft, you know, like they just looked at the statistics and saw, this team works. But that's really just, I don't know, maybe as far as they looked into it? Hard to say. Either way, we'll see what they do next time.